I overheard my girlfriend telling my best friend I cannot wait to dump him after I get pregnant. He is so clueless he will probably offer to pay child support for your baby. They both laughed. Now she is pregnant, and the karma is hitting harder than I ever imagined. I am 28M and still shaking as I write this. 2 weeks ago, I thought I had the perfect life. Loving girlfriend, loyal best friend, bright future. Now I know it was all an elaborate lie designed to use and humiliate me. Some background first. I have been with Savannah, 26F, for almost 2 years. We met at a mutual friend's house party and just clicked immediately. She is beautiful, outgoing, and has this infectious laugh that draws people to her. Savannah works as a marketing coordinator for a tech startup downtown. She is ambitious and always talking about her career goals. Her family owns a successful chain of fitness centers, so she grew up with money and high expectations. My best friend, Colton, 29, has been my brother since we were roommates in college. We have been through everything together. Bad breakups, family drama, career changes, you name it. He is a personal trainer at one of the biggest gyms in the city and has been dating Emma, 25, for about 3 years. When I first introduced Savannah to Colton, they got along great, which honestly made me happy. Nothing's worse than when your girlfriend and best friend cannot stand each other. Emma, Colton's girlfriend, is sweet and genuine, works as an elementary school teacher, and has this way of making everyone feel valued. She remembers everyone's birthday and always asks how your family is doing. The 4 of us started hanging out regularly, doing double dates, weekend trips, and game nights at my apartment. Colton would always joke that Savannah was way out of my league, and I better not mess things up. Everything felt perfect until about 4 months ago when I started noticing changes. Savannah began staying late at work constantly, claiming her boss was piling on extra projects. She would come home exhausted and immediately jump in the shower, saying she felt gross from the office air conditioning. She also became protective of her phone, taking it everywhere and always keeping it face down. When I would ask about her day, she would give vague answers about meetings and deadlines. Colton started acting strange, too. He had canceled our weekly gym sessions last minute, saying he had to cover for other trainers or had emergency client sessions. When we did hang out, he seemed distracted and kept checking his phone. I figured they were both just stressed with work. Savannah had mentioned wanting a promotion, and Colton's gym was opening a new location. Sometimes, life gets busy and relationships take a backseat, but then I noticed smaller things that bothered me. Savannah would get texts during dinner and immediately put her phone away, claiming it was work spam. She stopped talking about moving in together, something we had been planning for months. Colton became overly interested in Savannah's work schedule. He would casually ask when she had late meetings or weekend events. At the time, I thought he was just being friendly and making conversation. The worst part was how normal they acted when we were all together, laughing, joking, treating me and Emma like nothing had changed. Looking back, I realized they must have been getting some sick thrill from deceiving us right to our faces. 2 weeks ago, everything came crashing down. I had planned to surprise Savannah with dinner after her late meeting, so I stopped by her office building around 7 p.m. The security guard told me most people had left hours ago, but I figured maybe she was in a conference room. As I walked down the hallway toward her office, I heard voices coming from the break room. The door was cracked open, and I was about to knock when I heard my name mentioned. Savannah was talking to someone about their foolproof plan to coordinate hookups around my schedule. She laughed about how pathetic I was, never suspecting anything, even when they would disappear together at parties. The best part, she said, is he actually defends Colton when Emma gets suspicious. He is like our personal character witness while we are screwing behind his back. Then I heard Colton's voice, and my world collapsed. I told Emma I was helping him move furniture last weekend. He was visiting his sick grandmother, but she doesn't know that. This guy's the perfect alibi. They were planning their next encounter for that weekend when I would be out of town visiting my parents. Colton mentioned how much he loved hotel sex, and Savannah agreed. It felt so much more exciting than sneaking around apartments. But then Savannah said something that made my blood freeze. I cannot wait to dump him after I get pregnant. He is so stupidly loyal he will probably offer to pay child support even if he knows it is not his. Colton laughed. God, you are evil. I love it. Poor bastard has no idea what is coming. I felt like someone had punched me in the stomach. The takeout bag slipped from my hands and hit the floor. I heard them stop talking immediately, but I was already walking away, trying not to throw up. I sat in my car for 30 minutes, staring at nothing and trying to process what I had just heard. The betrayal from Savannah was devastating, but Colton's involvement felt like a knife in my chest. This wasn't some stranger or random guy. It was my best friend actively plotting against me. When I got home, I just sat on my couch staring at the wall. When Savannah arrived an hour later, she acted completely normal. Kissed me, hello, asked about my day, complained about her demanding boss, not a trace of guilt or concern that I might have discovered anything. Colton texted me that night, asking if I wanted to hit the gym tomorrow. The casual tone, like he hadn't just been planning another betrayal session, made me feel sick to my stomach. I realized confronting them directly would be pointless. They had just deny everything, gaslight me, or minimize what I had heard. Instead, I decided to protect myself and cut them off completely. The next morning, I blocked both of them on everything. Phone, social media, email. No explanations, no dramatic confrontations, just complete silence. I also changed my apartment locks and canceled the weekend trip to my parents', deciding to stay local and see what developed. Within hours, they were both trying to reach me through mutual friends. Savannah was telling people I had blocked her for no reason, and she was worried about my mental state. Colton was claiming I must be having some kind of breakdown. I stayed neutral with our friend group, just saying I needed space to think about some things. I didn't want to create drama or force people to choose sides before I fully understood the situation. That weekend, while they thought I was out of town, I drove past the hotel Colton had mentioned in their conversation. Sure enough, I saw both their cars in the parking lot. They were spending my absence exactly how they had planned, completely comfortable in their deception. I am still figuring out my next moves, but I know I can never trust either of them again. The level of calculation and enjoyment they showed while discussing their betrayal revealed their true character. I feel stupid for missing all the signs, but also proud of myself for walking away immediately once I learned the truth. Some people don't deserve explanations or second chances. Update 1. It has been 3 weeks since I went completely silent on Savannah and Colton, and the situation has exploded in ways I never expected. I wanted to update because several people asked what happened, and honestly, writing this helps me process everything. Last Tuesday, Emma showed up at my apartment completely distraught. She had been trying to reach me for over a week through mutual friends, because she couldn't understand why I had suddenly cut Colton off without explanation. Seeing her so confused and hurt was terrible. Emma had no idea what Colton was doing behind her back, and she was blaming herself for our friendship falling apart. She kept asking if she had said something wrong or if Colton had offended me somehow. I couldn't let her continue thinking she was responsible for the situation, so I told her everything. The conversation I would overheard, the hotel encounter, the months of coordinated lies and deception. Watching her face as I explained was heartbreaking. She went through the same emotional stages I had. Disbelief, then recognition as details started clicking into place, then complete devastation. Emma told me she had noticed Colton being distant and secretive lately, but he had convinced her it was stress from work and training for a bodybuilding competition. She had been trying to be supportive, giving him space and not questioning his schedule changes. She also revealed something that made my blood boil. Colton had been using me as his alibi constantly. When Emma asked about his whereabouts, he would claim he was helping me with apartment maintenance, or that we were working out together at different gyms. Just last month, when she wanted to plan a surprise for their anniversary, she had called me to coordinate timing. Colton had told her he was helping me move furniture that entire weekend. I had been out of town visiting my sick grandmother after our conversation. Emma went straight to the gym to confront Colton during his shift. According to her, he tried denying everything at first, claiming I must have misunderstood what I had heard, but Emma pressed him with specific dates and alibi stories, and eventually he cracked. But here is where it got even worse. Colton tried to blame everything on Savannah, claiming she had been pursuing him for months, and that she had told him I didn't satisfy her emotionally or physically. He painted himself as the victim of her seduction. Emma wasn't buying it. She demanded to see his phone right there in the middle of the gym, and that is when she discovered months of explicit messages between Colton and Savannah. They had been planning their encounters in graphic detail, sharing intimate photos, and yes, laughing about how easy it was to fool Emma and me. The messages showed this wasn't some case of Savannah manipulating poor Colton. He was an eager, enthusiastic participant who got off on the deception just as much as she did. They had been raiding hotel rooms, discussing favorite positions, and even role-playing scenarios about what they would do if we caught them. Emma left the gym immediately and has been staying with her sister ever since. She told me she has never felt so betrayed and humiliated in her life. The woman she thought was her friend had been sleeping with her boyfriend while smiling to her face at dinner parties. Meanwhile, Savannah finally managed to track down my new phone number and called me sobbing hysterically. She claimed she had made a terrible mistake and that Colton had been manipulating and pressuring her into the affair. I let her talk for about 3 minutes before I cut her off. I told her I had heard their conversation with my own ears, knew exactly how much she had enjoyed betraying me, and that I had seen evidence of their coordination and planning. Her entire demeanor changed instantly. The crying stopped, and she became cold and calculating. She said I was being dramatic and immature, and that if I wasn't too proud to listen, she could explain how the situation was more complicated than I understood. When I refused to meet with her, she got nasty. She said I had never satisfied her anyway, and that Colton gave her things I never could. She claimed I was too boring and predictable, and that any woman would eventually look elsewhere. That is when I knew I had made the right choice, cutting her off completely. The mask had slipped and I was seeing who she really was underneath all the charm and sweetness. But the biggest shock came the next day. Emma called me sobbing, saying Savannah had contacted her asking to meet for coffee to clear the air between us girls. During that meeting, Savannah revealed she was pregnant and that Colton was the father. But here is the twisted part. She seemed genuinely excited about it. According to Emma, Savannah said, "This baby is going to change everything. Colton will finally see that we are meant to be together. He cannot run from this responsibility." When Emma told her that Colton was already denying everything and blaming her for seducing him, Savannah became hysterical. "He cannot abandon me now," she screamed. "I planned this perfectly. The timing, the setup, everything. He promised me we would be together once I got rid of the dead weight." Emma realized that dead weight meant me. But here is where Savannah's overconfidence completely backfired. She had been so sure of her manipulation skills that she would actually recorded some of their conversations as insurance, in case Colton tried to back out. The problem, those recordings also captured her admitting to intentionally getting pregnant without telling Colton, and her detailed plans to manipulate me into paying child support for another man's baby. When Emma demanded to hear these recordings, Savannah played them, thinking they would prove Colton's promises to leave Emma for her. Instead, they revealed the full scope of her calculated cruelty. Since then, Colton has been desperately trying to reach both Emma and me. He is claiming the pregnancy isn't his and demanding a paternity test. He is telling anyone who will listen that Savannah is unstable and trying to trap him. Savannah, meanwhile, has been posting cryptic messages on social media about unexpected blessings and how true love always finds a way. She has apparently convinced herself that this pregnancy will somehow force Colton to commit to her. Our entire friend group has fractured over this situation. Most people are staying neutral and avoiding the drama, but a few have taken sides. Some believe Colton's claims that Savannah manipulated him, while others think he is just trying to escape responsibility for his choices. I have started seeing a therapist to help process everything. She has been helping me understand that people who get genuine pleasure from deceiving others have fundamental character issues that cannot be fixed with apologies or explanations. The hardest part is accepting that two people I trusted completely were actively working against me for months. But I am starting to realize their betrayal says everything about their character and nothing about my worth as a person. Update 2. I wasn't planning to update again, but the situation has taken some dramatic turns that I think people following this story will find interesting. It has been 2 months since I discovered the affair, and the pregnancy has brought out the absolute worst in both Colton and Savannah. Last week, Derek, another friend from our college group who I rarely talk to, reached out with information that completely changed how I understood the timeline of their betrayal. Derek works security at a hotel downtown and remembered seeing Colton and Savannah together multiple times over the past 8 months. He had thought it was weird that they were meeting without Emma and me, but didn't want to create drama by saying anything. What really bothered Derek was that they had been very comfortable and affectionate together. acting like an established couple rather than people sneaking around. They had hold hands in the lobby, share intimate conversations over drinks, and request the same room each time they visited. Derek showed me security footage from several dates. Watching Savannah and Colton together, completely relaxed and happy, was surreal. They looked like they had been in love for years, not two people having a guilty affair. But the most disturbing part was hearing Derek describe conversations he would overheard while working. In one instance, Savannah had talked about how she was planning to break up with me after she got pregnant and could claim financial support. She wanted to ensure she had legal options before ending our relationship. Colton had apparently been encouraging this timeline, suggesting she wait until the pregnancy was far enough along that I couldn't question the timing. They had been actively planning to use a pregnancy to destroy my life while securing their future together. This wasn't just an affair driven by attraction or emotional connection. It was a calculated scheme to manipulate circumstances in their favor while maximizing the damage to Emma and me. Armed with this information, I decided to reach out to Emma and share what Derek had told me. She deserved to know the full scope of how they had been plotting against us. Emma revealed that she had been doing her own investigation since discovering the affair. She had found credit card statements showing expensive dinners, hotel charges, and even jewelry purchases that Colton had hidden from her. He had been funding their relationship with money from their shared savings account. Money they had been saving for an engagement ring. She also discovered that Colton had been lying about his gym schedule for months, creating fake client appointments to make time for his encounters with Savannah. His manager confirmed that Colton had been requesting specific time slots off that corresponded exactly with when Savannah claimed to be working late. The pregnancy situation has become even more toxic. When Savannah told Colton about the baby, his first reaction was to accuse her of trying to trap him. He demanded she get an abortion and threatened to cut off all contact if she refused. Savannah responded by threatening to tell Emma and me everything if Colton didn't start taking responsibility. She would apparently save screenshots of all their conversations as insurance, planning to use them as leverage if needed. When Colton still refused to support her, Savannah followed through on her threat. She sent Emma and me dozens of screenshots showing the full extent of their relationship, thinking it would somehow force Colton to step up. Reading those messages was devastating but also enlightening. They had been mocking Emma and me constantly, making jokes about how trusting and naive we were. Savannah had shared intimate details about our relationship, and Colton had done the same about Emma. In one particularly cruel exchange, they had discussed how boring they found their official relationships compared to the excitement of their affair. Savannah had written that she couldn't wait to be done pretending to love me, and Colton had responded that Emma was too clingy and predictable. But the screenshots also revealed something important. They had been documenting their own manipulation and cruelty in detail. Every lie, every calculated move, every moment of enjoying our pain was preserved in writing. Emma and I decided to share some of these messages with close friends who had been pressuring us to forgive them or work things out. People needed to understand that this wasn't a case of two people making a mistake. It was systematic emotional abuse. The reaction from our friend group was swift and decisive. Most people were horrified by the level of cruelty and manipulation revealed in the messages. Colton and Savannah found themselves increasingly isolated as people realized what they were really capable of. Meanwhile, the pregnancy has been causing major drama between Colton's family and Savannah. His parents are demanding a paternity test and threatening legal action if she tries to claim financial support without proof. Savannah's family, who initially supported her claims about being manipulated by Colton, started backing away after seeing the screenshots that proved she was an equal participant in the deception. Colton has been spiraling since losing most of his friends and facing potential fatherhood. He has been drinking heavily and missing work regularly. His gym manager is reportedly considering termination due to his unreliability and unprofessional behavior. Savannah, meanwhile, has been posting constantly about her pregnancy journey, trying to maintain an image of a strong single mother who doesn't need anyone. But her facade is cracking as people who know the truth start distancing themselves. I have been focusing on healing and rebuilding. My therapist helped me understand that Savannah and Colton's betrayal actually freed me from relationships that were fundamentally dishonest and manipulative. They showed me their true character before I got more deeply involved. Emma and I have maintained a friendship throughout this process, We support each other as people who understand exactly what it feels like to be systematically deceived by those closest to us. There is something powerful about having someone who gets it completely. I have started dating again, very cautiously. I met someone through a friend who seems genuine and straightforward. We are taking things extremely slowly because I am much more aware now of red flags and manipulation tactics. Some people have suggested I should consider forgiving Savannah and Colton eventually, saying everyone deserves second chances, but I have learned there is a difference between making mistakes and revealing character. They didn't slip up. They actively enjoyed hurting the people who loved them most. Final update: it has been 6 months since I discovered Savannah and Colton's affair, and I wanted to provide one final update for those who have been following this situation. A lot has happened, and I am finally in a place where I can reflect on everything with clarity and peace. First, the pregnancy situation resolved in the most predictable way possible. Savannah gave birth to a healthy baby boy 2 months ago. The paternity test confirmed Colton is the father, which sent him into complete denial and panic mode. Colton immediately hired a lawyer to minimize his child support obligations and has been fighting every aspect of taking responsibility. He is claiming Savannah manipulated him into the affair and intentionally got pregnant to trap him, despite all the evidence showing he was an eager participant. Savannah has been struggling as a single mother while trying to maintain her social media image of empowered independence. She has been posting about not needing a man while simultaneously pursuing legal action to force Colton into financial responsibility. The irony is that both of them are dealing with exactly the consequences they created through their own choices, yet neither takes any real accountability for their actions. My life, meanwhile, has improved dramatically. Without the constant stress of their deception and manipulation, I have been able to focus on my own growth and happiness. I have been promoted at work and have been building genuine friendships with people who share my values. I also met someone special 6 months ago. Rachel is a teacher who values honesty and kindness above everything else. What strikes me most about our relationship is how simple and peaceful it feels when both people are genuine. No games, no hidden agendas, no need to constantly decode behavior or worry about betrayal. We have been taking things slowly, but there is a foundation of trust and respect that I never realized was missing from my relationship with Savannah. Rachel shows her love through consistent actions rather than words, and she has never given me reason to question her integrity. Emma has also been thriving since leaving Colton. She has been traveling, focusing on her teaching career, and recently started dating a fellow teacher who treats her with the respect and honesty she deserves. We still talk occasionally and support each other's healing journey. The most valuable lesson I have learned through this experience is about character assessment. I used to focus on surface-level attraction and compatibility, shared interests, physical chemistry, social dynamics. Now I pay attention to how people treat others when they think nobody's watching. Savannah and Colton both showed signs of character issues that I overlooked because I wanted to believe the best in people. Savannah's willingness to manipulate situations for her benefit, Colton's casual dishonesty about small things, their shared enjoyment of drama and gossip. These were all red flags I rationalized away. I have also learned to trust my intuition immediately rather than talking myself out of discomfort. When something feels off in a relationship, it usually is, even if you cannot identify exactly what is wrong. My therapist helped me understand that healthy people don't derive pleasure from deception or manipulation. When Savannah and Colton were laughing about their lies and enjoying our trust, they were revealing fundamental character defects that would eventually surface in other relationships. I don't hate Savannah or Colton anymore. I genuinely hope they find happiness and become better people, but I also recognize that they are not safe people for me to have in my life. And accepting that has brought me tremendous peace. My family, who had some reservations about Savannah's ambitious and competitive nature, have been incredibly supportive throughout this process. They never said they told me so, instead focusing on how proud they are of my emotional maturity and growth. I am genuinely grateful for where I am now. Fulfilling career, healthy relationship, strong support network, and clear understanding of my own worth and boundaries. None of this would have been possible if I had stayed in a situation built on lies and manipulation. Thank you to everyone who supported me through this process. Your advice and encouragement helped me stay strong when I was tempted to ignore red flags or give second chances that weren't deserved.